This is IUP TV News, broadcasted from Davis Hall. We will bring you our weekly news bulletin. I'm Taylor Jones.
And I'm Brandon Uhalik. We will begin with local news. Over the past 4 months, parents, teachers have been debating about school learning platform that was introduced in junior high school in the Indiana area and available for free for both teachers and students. The platform that relies on students following a computer-based curriculum and online sources is expected to help students learn better by adjusting their learning style to their own pace. Even though students have no trouble following the platform, their parents express their concern over limited contacts with teachers as practiced in traditional classroom.
Now the national news. In light of the Me Too movement, men and women are saying that they want more female leaders. Berlin Cameron, the Female Quotient, and the Harris Poll conducted a poll of 2,000 U.S. adults in the U.S. results. From that 50%, respondents say they would prefer to work at a female-led company over a male-led company. This poll also showed that 92% of adults say changes need to be made to eliminate sexual harassment in the workplace.
2018 is bringing new changes to many IUP students. The new Multicultural Student Leadership and Engagement building has opened. The president inaugurated the building with the ribbon-cutting ceremony last Friday. Taylor Jones has her story.
For some students that are in organizations here at IUP, they can have a hard time finding a place to have meetings or social events held at. But for the spring semester, that all will change. A newly constructed Center for Multicultural Student Leadership and Engagement will help all of the organizations on IUP's campus to collaborate with each other and keep students updated on their upcoming events. Elkin Hall was surrounded by faculty and students to watch the ribbon-cutting ceremony. I got the chance to talk to the director on how he feels about the new center.
I am very excited about working here because it's an opportunity for students to really grow and to become the future professionals they want to be.
This center received a $2.7 million grant and only took 1 year to be built. It has a brand new social space, a multi-purpose room, a dance studio, and more rooms for the students to enjoy.
It gives us diversity with students, and we all got this little great room to be in now.
It benefits me because I have a TV show called Hulk Talk. I don't know if you heard of it or not, but it's around, and yeah. It benefits that because that's a place that I can come to with my TV show, you know, and we can come here and have meetings and stuff like that, talk about the upcoming stuff that we want to do, and it's just a place that we can come back to, and you know, we ain't really got to worry about always finding a new room, you know what I'm saying, like that.
This center benefits on serving all students and brings people from diverse backgrounds together. This building is open Monday through Friday. I'm Taylor Jones reporting for IUP TV News. As the new Elkin Hall is ready for students and their activities, Leonard Hall is being demolished. The development of the new Leonard Hall is expected to start in 2020. The new building is expected to create more space for the science building.
The other good news for IUP is the International Leaders in Education Program, or ILEP. For 3 consecutive years, IUP has received funding from the Department of State's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs to serve as a host institution for high school teachers from 9 different countries, such as Bangladesh, Brazil, Egypt, Ghana, and Indonesia. The 16 international secondary teachers have been selected for professional development experience. They will observe teaching practices in high schools around Greater Indiana. They will be here at IUP for the whole spring semester.
As we begin the new spring semester, we want to feature students and their work. One of them is Kenneth O'Gilly, a full-time student in comm media who has multiple jobs. Richard Loftus has his story.
At a glance, you probably think Ken Gilly is one of your professors. At 55 years old, Ken returned to school as a full-time student. Outside of school, he works a full-time job as a training supervisor at UPS, as well as volunteering as the technical director at his church. One of his biggest motivations at coming back to school was proving a point to his kids.
Well, as I was progressing, I have several kids, and they were in and out of colleges and switching institutions. So I figured to prove a point that anything's possible, I decided to go back to school myself.
Despite his enthusiasm about going back to school, he found some challenges along the way. Mainly, juggling his job and school, which he tries to figure out with his advisor.
Well, having a time schedule the way I have, it's kind of hard to manage, but when you take in consideration that in the long run, you get the degree, you get the fulfillment that you accomplish something. I think time at work, school, and play all kind of balances itself out.
How do you plan on using your skills that you've learned here later on in your life?
Well, I'd like to take my skills into UPS, possibly with their media department, if it goes that way, and with myself volunteering for church, I'd like to maybe go into a church and use my skills for the ministry.
With all the skills that Ken has learned here at IUP, he hopes to teach the younger generation that anything is possible at any age. Reporting for IUP TV, this is Richard Loftus.
So have you ever met Kenneth?
No, I haven't.
Well, I actually had a chance to sit with him last semester, and I am impressed with his determination for self-improvement in all of his classes. The next story is one he produced about children education.
Working with preschool children is the kind of career that is for very special people. And Susan Gilly, the executive director at Beacon Learning Center, sure has this at hand, even whenever she began as a parent.
Actually, I started as a parent in the Head Start program, and then I enjoyed the program so much I was offered a job as a home visitor. Then I ended up moving into a position where I was a center director for a few years and then an area supervisor.
Time has been a challenge in her ways of coping with children and parents.
I think today the most difficult challenge, and it was also, I guess, 20-some years ago, but today I've noticed that there's a lot more challenging behaviors with children. The family composition's changed. There's a lot of two-parent families with both parents working.
Showing that she's involved with the development of the kids she works with, she talks about the classroom.
We make sure that the environment is conducive to learning and developmentally appropriate for the age group that we have.
She went on to discuss how they go about the development.
We could do that by developing a behavior chart, or we could set up different scenarios for the children, such as like group therapy or peer group interaction, one-on-one type of things with the teachers. It just develops where the child's social skills are.
So I asked, why is that an important aspect? And she responded,
I think it's always our goal that we want children to develop social skills, because we all know in life you are not working one-on-one, you're mostly working in groups.
So I find that having someone like Susan Gilly working with children and teaching the skills we need later in life is just what we need with our young people to get started. Well, you heard it first here. I'm Ken Gilly for IUP TV.
Assisting people with disabilities has always been the interest of Jessica Wirtz. A senior in disability studies in IUP, Ryan Wirtz has the story.
It takes a special kind of person to help those with disabilities, and one of those special people is Jessica Wirtz. Like the people she wishes to work with, Jessica has a severe hearing loss of her own, and she has dealt with that for a long time.
I didn't really understand that I had a problem with hearing until I got to middle school. I remember specifically when I realized I had a hearing loss, I was sharing an MP3 player with somebody else in the bus, and when I gave them my earbud to put in their ear, they went like this and were like, "That's so loud."
And it's because of this disability, Jessica feels like she will dedicate her life to helping those with a similar situation. Currently, Jessica is a senior at IUP, and she has already been involved with the people around her. Recently, she worked with the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation, which is a statewide agency that works with people with disabilities to help them gain and maintain employment. One of the things she emphasized is her experiences and similar situation.
Especially with Summer Academy, one of my favorite things was when a student would look at me and they would say, I've never met another person with a hearing loss that wasn't my grandmother or wasn't someone much older than me. And just being able to be a positive influence and a role model to them. I've had students contact me after the Summer Academy telling me how much of an impact I've had on them. Just being able to show students that the world does not end if you have a hearing loss, and you can do literally whatever you want, and you can do any career, you can go to any college.
Living with difficulties in hearing, Jessica knows the challenges. Growing up, she was often left alone when it came to coping with her issue with others, which is why she plans to travel from school to school, helping students who have hearing loss and educating their schools and facilities wherever they are.
The reason why I want to be an itinerant teacher rather than being a teacher in like a school for the deaf or a regular classroom teacher is because I know what it's like to have a hearing loss in school and feel like nobody understood what I was going through. I went to a very small school, a very rural school, and so the number of people that I was able to interact with that had a hearing loss was slim to none.
Today, roughly 12.9% of all students enrolled in school have some type of hearing loss. And while most schools around the U.S. are spending more when it comes to disabilities, there are still others who lack funding or the knowledge to distribute this funding properly. So it's people like Jessica who shed a light on people who would otherwise be left in the dark by educating schools and providing better care for these students.
Coming up, Peyton Markajon will bring you health and wellness news and stories. Stay tuned.
I fell in love with the campus, with the people, with my IUP life. See it for yourself. Visit us. Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Find your success.
Hello and welcome back to IUP News. I'm Peyton Markajon and I will be bringing you some lifestyle stories. Habits can be very hard to break. However, the ones that are hardest to break are often the most important. ABC News chief medical correspondent Jennifer Ashton took part in Dry January that involves giving up alcohol for 1 month. Ashton said giving up alcohol for a month had physical changes, including weight loss, better sleep, and clear skin. In order to successfully complete this challenge and see results, Ashton suggests having a strong support system. Many of us experience bad moods because of a rainy day, but what happens when it's more than just a bad mood? It might be seasonal affective disorder. What is seasonal affective disorder and how does it affect IUP students? I attempted to answer this question in this next story. Take a look.
This is only the first week of school, and I already am not motivated to get out of bed. Why do I feel this way? I'm not the only one who has this problem. This is more than just the winter blues. This is seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. According to the Mayo Clinic, seasonal affective disorder is a type of depression that's related to changes in seasons. While it can occur in any season, it is most common in the fall and winter months. Symptoms of winter SAD can include oversleeping, appetite changes, weight gain, and low energy. According to the U.S. National Library of Medicine, over 13% of the student population studied experienced SAD. I wanted to see if this was true at IUP, so I decided to talk to a few students.
Whether or not weather affects me, I think it does. My mood usually gets like down or like depressed or tired or I get less motivated.
I think the weather affects my mood mostly through temperature. Like cold days, it's a lot harder to get out of bed. Like the amount of light doesn't bug me too much.
I think it really does affect my mood. When it snows, oddly enough, like I'm happier, but I'm just a weird person that doesn't mind the cold. But like cold rain, like in the fall, really like is horrible.
The weather certainly has an effect on how I'm feeling, and I think I recognize it more in the springtime. I get the spring fever more than the sleepy winter kind of deal. So
Fortunately, these students have all found ways to combat the effects of seasonal affective disorder.
To combat like the symptoms and stuff, I usually either listen to uplifting music. I tend to go to like the dorms and hang out with friends and like be with groups of people because that really lifts up my spirits.
Sometimes I just cocoon in a blanket, get a mug of hot coffee, cocoa.
I sometimes make tea. I've started to do yoga in the morning.
I think that when the seasons start to change, I'll look for something that I can do that's active inside, because I feel like I'm just getting worn away, just not doing anything while it's cold outside. So I'll go to the hub and play basketball or to the Zinc gym.
Of course, there are many ways to combat the effects of SAD. Like Maddie, my personal favorite is yoga. Seasonal affective disorder is certainly an issue that affects many students, but it's good to know that we all have a way to fight it.
What is more important for a better mood might be a better night's sleep. If you have difficulties in sleeping, your bedroom could actually be the source of the problem. HGTV suggests that decluttering, choosing common colors for decor, getting rid of electronics, keeping the room dark, quiet, and cool, and getting an alarm clock that wakes you up gently can help. Be sure to check out IUP's website for campus activities and mental health resources.
As we approach Groundhog Day this weekend, various activities will be held this week in Punxsutawney. Let's see how Punxsutawney Phil will predict our winner.
Next week, we will report stories on how the 16 international teachers who come to IUP this semester as a part of International Leaders in Education program, ILEP. And of course, we'll find out how people are starting 2018 with new resolutions for healthy bodies.
Healthy body, healthy mind. Please stay tuned. We'll see you next week.